"We're promoting Jessica. She has the presence this role needs." My boss delivered the news with the confidence of someone who believed he was untouchable, completely unaware that the next 60 seconds would destroy his carefully orchestrated betrayal. Jessica sat beside him, legs crossed, smirking at me like she'd already measured my office for new furniture. But what neither of them knew was that my phone was about to ring, and the voice on the other end would reveal exactly whose presence actually mattered to this company's survival. Before I tell you what that call revealed, let me ask you something. Where are you watching from right now? And when you hear what happened in that conference room, tell me honestly, have you ever worked harder than everyone around you only to watch someone else take the credit? My name is Morgan. I'm 34 years old. And I've spent the last 7 years building something that my company almost gave away to someone who didn't deserve it. Let me take you back to the beginning. I started at Hartwell & Associates as a junior account manager straight out of business school. It was a mid-sized marketing firm in Chicago, prestigious enough to look good on a resume but small enough that hard work could actually be noticed. At least that's what I believed. For the first 3 years I did everything right. I arrived early, stayed late, took on projects nobody else wanted, and delivered results that exceeded every metric. By year 4, I'd been promoted to senior account manager. By year 5, I was handling the firm's most valuable clients. By year 6, I was generating 40% of the company's total revenue. 40%. From one person. Me. But here's the thing about being indispensable. Sometimes the people above you start to resent it. My boss, Vincent Hartwell III, was the grandson of the company founder, and had never worked a day in his life that didn't come with a safety net. He'd inherited his position the same way he'd inherited his trust fund, and he spent most of his time taking credit for other people's achievements. I was his biggest threat. Not because I wanted his job, but because my existence highlighted everything he wasn't. Every time a client praised my work, it reminded Vincent that he couldn't do what I did. Every time I solved a problem he couldn't understand, it exposed his incompetence. So he found a solution. Jessica Palmer. Jessica was hired as my assistant 18 months ago. On paper, she was there to help manage my workload. In reality, Vincent had recruited her specifically to replace me. She was 26, blonde, polished in that Instagram influencer way, and completely unqualified for anything beyond looking good in meetings. But she had something I didn't. She made Vincent feel smart. From day one, Jessica positioned herself as Vincent's ally. She laughed at his terrible jokes. She complimented his mediocre ideas. She copied me on emails where she subtly undermined my decisions while praising his visionary leadership. And Vincent ate it up like a starving man at a buffet. I watched it happen in slow motion. Jessica would sit in on my client calls saying nothing, then send Vincent summaries that made it sound like she'd done all the work. She'd ask me questions about strategy, take detailed notes, then present those same strategies in leadership meetings as her own ideas. She'd schedule meetings when she knew I had conflicts, then report back that I couldn't make it, while she stepped up to fill the gap. It was textbook credit theft, executed with surgical precision. The irony was that my biggest client, Dominion Industries, had no idea any of this was happening. To them, I was Hartwell & Associates. I'd landed their account 5 years ago when they were a regional manufacturer. I'd developed the marketing strategy that helped them expand nationally. I'd personally handled every campaign, every crisis, every opportunity. Their CEO, Marcus Webb, had my direct line and used it weekly. Dominion was responsible for 60% of the revenue I generated. That meant they represented roughly 25% of the entire company's income. And Marcus Webb had made it very clear in writing that his business relationship was with me specifically. Vincent knew this, which is why his plan was so stupid. The meeting was called for a Tuesday afternoon. Vincent's assistant had scheduled it as a career development discussion, which should have been my first warning. When I walked into the conference room and saw Jessica already seated beside Vincent, her legs crossed with that predatory smile, I understood exactly what was about to happen. "Morgan, thanks for joining us." Vincent gestured to the chair across from them like I was a guest in my own company. "We wanted to discuss some exciting organizational changes." I sat down, keeping my expression neutral. "I'm listening." As you know, the senior vice president position has been open since David retired. Vincent leaned back, savoring the moment. We've been carefully evaluating candidates, looking for someone with true leadership presence. Someone who can represent Hartwell at the highest levels. I knew what was coming. I'd known for months, but hearing it still felt like swallowing glass. We're promoting Jessica, Vincent announced. She has the presence this role needs. Jessica smiled at me, that smirk that said she'd won, and we both knew it. I'm really looking forward to taking on more responsibility. I've learned so much working under you, Morgan. Under me. Like she hadn't spent 18 months stealing everything I'd built. The transition will be gradual, Vincent continued. Jessica will start taking over your major accounts next month. We want to ensure continuity for our clients. My major accounts, I repeated quietly. The company's accounts, Vincent corrected. No single person is bigger than the organization, Morgan. I thought you understood that. I folded my hands on the table. I didn't react. I didn't argue. I'd learned long ago that Vincent couldn't be reasoned with. He'd made his decision, and nothing I said would change it. But the universe has a sense of timing. My phone rang. The ringtone was distinctive. A custom alert I'd set specifically for Marcus Webb's direct line. Everyone at Hartwell knew that sound. It meant the company's biggest client was calling. Vincent's eyes locked onto my phone. Is that who I think it is? Marcus Webb, CEO of Dominion Industries. Put it on speaker. Vincent's voice had shifted from smug to commanding. Let's see how our most important client responds to the transition news. I could have declined, could have said it was personal, could have stepped out of the room. But something told me this was exactly the moment I'd been waiting for. I answered and pressed the speaker button. Morgan. Marcus's voice filled the conference room. I'm glad I caught you. We need to talk about something important. You're on speaker, Marcus. I'm in a meeting with Vincent Hartwell and Jessica Palmer. Perfect. Actually, that makes this easier. Marcus paused. I've been thinking about our relationship with Hartwell. 5 years now. You've helped us grow from a $50 million company to a $300 million company. That's not an exaggeration. Our board directly credits your marketing strategy for at least 40% of that growth. Vincent was nodding along, probably assuming this was about to become a glowing endorsement of the company. Thank you, Marcus. That means a lot. It should. Because here's the thing, Morgan. Marcus's tone shifted, became more serious. I got a call from Vincent's office last week. Someone named Jessica wanted to schedule a meeting to discuss account transition planning. I had my assistant look into it, and apparently there's some reorganization happening at Hartwell. Jessica's smirk faltered. Vincent's confident expression flickered. So I need to ask you directly, Morgan. Are you staying at Hartwell? I looked at Vincent, at Jessica, at the two people who had just told me I didn't have the presence they needed. I don't know yet, Marcus. I'm still evaluating my options. Then let me help you evaluate. Marcus's voice was firm. Dominion Industries has a contract with Hartwell and Associates. But that contract has a clause one I insisted on 5 years ago. It specifies that our account is managed by you personally. If you leave Hartwell, the contract allows us to terminate with 30 days' notice. Vincent's face went pale. I wasn't aware of that clause, Vincent managed. Then you should read your contracts more carefully. Marcus's tone was ice. Here's what's going to happen. If Morgan leaves Hartwell, Dominion leaves Hartwell. All $12 million of our annual marketing spend goes wherever she goes. And I've already spoken with 3 other CEOs who feel the same way about their accounts. They trust Morgan. They've never heard of Jessica Palmer. Jessica looked like she'd been slapped. Additionally, Marcus continued, I've been authorized by our board to make Morgan an offer. Chief Marketing Officer of Dominion Industries. $300,000 base salary, plus equity, plus full authority over a marketing budget that's about to triple. We're going public next year, Morgan. I want you leading our brand into the IPO. The room was silent. I could hear my own heartbeat. That's a significant offer, I said carefully. It's what you're worth. Take your time deciding. But know that if you stay at Hartwell, I'll need assurances that your position is secure. No transitions. No reorganizations. No assistants being promoted over someone who's generated more value than anyone else in that building. Marcus paused. Vincent, are you still there? I'm here, Vincent said hoarsely. Good. Then you should know that the 3 other clients I mentioned, combined with Dominion, they represent about 60% of Hartwell's revenue. All 4 of us have the same clause in our contracts. All 4 of us will follow Morgan wherever she goes. His voice hardened. So I'd suggest you reconsider whatever transition planning you're doing. Unless you want to explain to your grandfather's board how you lost 60% of the company's income to promote someone who's been there 18 months. Marcus hung up. The silence in that conference room was absolute. Jessica's smirk had vanished entirely, replaced by something that looked a lot like fear. Vincent was staring at his hands like they belonged to someone else. I stood up slowly. You were saying something about presence, Vincent? He couldn't meet my eyes. Morgan, let's not be hasty. Obviously, there's been some miscommunication about the reorganization. There's no miscommunication. You were promoting my assistant over me because she makes you feel good about yourself. Because she laughs at your jokes and steals my work and tells you what you want to hear. I gathered my things. That's not leadership presence, Vincent. That's manipulation. And you fell for it. Jessica finally spoke. Morgan, I never meant to. Don't. I cut her off. I've watched you for 18 months. Every email you copied Vincent on. Every strategy you presented as your own. Every meeting you scheduled when you knew I couldn't attend. You knew exactly what you were doing. You just didn't expect consequences. I walked to the door, then turned back. I'll give you my decision by Friday. But here's something to think about while you wait. I looked directly at Vincent. Leadership presence isn't about looking good in meetings. It's about building relationships that matter. It's about delivering results that people remember. It's about being so valuable that clients put your name in their contracts. I smiled. Jessica can have all the presence in the world, but she can't have what I've built. And neither can you. I left them sitting there, the weight of their mistake finally sinking in. Friday came. I accepted Marcus's offer. Within 30 days, Dominion Industries terminated their contract with Hartwell and Associates. 3 other major clients followed. By the end of the quarter, Hartwell had lost 57% of their revenue. The board demanded answers. Vincent couldn't provide them. He was removed from his position 6 months later. Last I heard, he's consulting, which is corporate speak for unemployed but too proud to admit it. Jessica was let go in the first round of layoffs. Turns out leadership presence doesn't pay the bills when there are no clients left to impress. I've been CMO of Dominion Industries for 8 months now. We went public 3 months ago. The IPO exceeded projections by 40%. My equity stake is worth more than I would have made in 20 years at Hartwell. But that's not the part that matters. What matters is that I work for people who see my value. People who put my name in contracts because they trust me. People who promoted me not because I made them feel comfortable, but because I made them successful. That's what presence actually looks like. If you're watching this and you've ever been overlooked for someone who played politics better than you worked, I want you to know something. Your value isn't determined by people who can't see it. The right people will recognize what you bring. The right opportunities will find you. And when they do, the people who underestimated you will be left explaining why they let you go. Build something real. Build relationships that matter. Build results that speak for themselves. And when someone tells you that you don't have the presence they need, show them what their presence is worth without you. If this story spoke to you, drop a comment below. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what happens next.